Okay, welcome to our Professional Entrepreneur Seminar. Before we get started, make sure that you download the workbook that goes with this seminar. We're going to make this as interactive as possible in the atmosphere that we have right now. So if you haven't done so yet, just click the pause button on this movie right here and go ahead and download it, print it out. Make sure you have a pen so you're all set. Make sure you're in an area where you can concentrate. You don't have a lot of distractions. The better you fill this workbook out, the better off you're going to be at the end to move forward if you so choose. This is for you. It's not for us. This is for you. We want to assess where you are, what you want, how you want to get there, and give you all the information that you need to become a professional entrepreneur, because there are new rules if you not only want to survive, but if you want to create wealth. And we will get to that, and we'll go through all the different characteristics and the different dilemmas, the different situations that are out there. But before we actually get started, let's open your workbook right now and let's ask some self-assessment questions. And number one, why are you here? Okay, write that down. It's very important to know, what are your expectations? What do you want to get out of this seminar? And then number two, what do you want to change about what's going on in whatever your situation is? Only you can answer that, and be as specific as possible about what you want to change. Typically, if you want to move forward, individuals that have success moving forward, they know exactly what they want to change. They have a desire or some kind of a passion in them, or a discontent about something, and they wake up every day and they're usually frustrated enough to they get to the point where they're asking for help. They're going and searching for some help, and they're just looking for some guidance or looking for something that will help them get closer to that change. And number three is, how are you going to do it? What is your current plan? Okay, before you even look at this seminar, you obviously have something you want to change. What is your plan that you have right now to make that happen? And number four, when are you going to go do that? Okay, put a time frame down. Is this going to happen in the next 3 months? Is this going to happen in the next 2 years? Is this going to happen in the next 5 years? Everybody comes with different situations. So depending on what your situation is, obviously you can only answer that. And then question number five is, how important is it for you to reach your goals above? Because all those that we just went through, they're actually goals. Why are you here? What do you want to change? How are you going to go about doing it? What is your current plan? How bad, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest or the strongest, how important is it for you to reach your goals? And then when we get to question number 6 and number 7, question number 6, let's look at your skills. What are the skills that you possess right now that you've developed over time that you feel that are assets for you? Are you a team player? Are you coachable? We have a lot of things right here that we listed, and there's a lot more things. Sometimes you probably have skills that you might not think are real assets. But if you're good at stuff, if you're a people person, if you have a good work ethic, if you feel you're trustworthy, list all the characteristics that you feel are an asset of you, being you. And then number 7, what characteristics or skills do you want to improve or do you want to develop? Some people, they want to become better at working with people. Some people want to change their beliefs. Some people want to learn how to write goals. Some people want to learn how to use the computer a little bit better. There's a lot of different things. So what skills? See, these first 7 questions are so important when we move on, because when you're actually completed with this seminar, you're going to meet with someone, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's over the telephone. We're going to go through this workbook, and because you have this workbook, it now lets us gauge what's going on and the assets that you have, and we can really hone in those assets and show you how you can take those skills and not develop new skills. A lot of times you already have the skills and they're already developed. You just need to know how to apply them in a different industry, in a different method that's going to produce you leveraged income. Now, let's talk about cause and effect, because everything in life revolves around cause and effect. It doesn't matter, what it is. Every time there's a cause, there's an effect that happens. So where you're sitting right now, it was determined because of certain causes. And let's switch the word cause with choices. You have made certain choices to get you to where you are right now. And you might sit here and think, well, you know what, I'm really not where I want, but where you want to be. But understand, you really are where you want to be, because you're the one that made the choices to put you here. And if you want to move forward in life and make a change, you're going to have to make better choices. If you're in a poor situation right now, you're down and out, you just can't figure out how to get out of your own way, you have to make better choices. If you make better choices, you're going to get the effects that you want. It's a very, very simple process that I think a lot of times people go through life and, you know, they just never understand that truly, that, you know, they are in control of their own destiny. It's just a matter of making choices on a consistent basis that are good choices. When you look at successful people, they make good choices every day. They don't waste time. They don't spend their time on activities that don't get them closer to their goals. They make good choices. The people that struggle and can't get out of their own way, they make poor decision after poor decision after poor decision after poor decision, and half the time they look at someone else to bail them out, or they blame it on someone else or the situation they're in. It all comes down to you are where you are today because of the choices you make. Now, when we understand the choices, and I think that's a very simple concept to understand, now what the next thing that we need to talk about is scheduling, because that's truly the difference between the successful person and the average person is scheduling. What does a successful person do with their extra time? Because let's say everybody sleeps the same, and everybody has, let's just assume everybody either has a job or owns a business, and let's say that takes 8 to 10 hours a day for you to work. So if you take your sleep and you take whatever your main income stream is right now, that you take time out, maybe it's 8 to 10 hours a day, that's roughly anywhere between 16 and 18 hours. So when you combine your work time and your sleep time, so now you have all that extra time. The difference between the successful people and the people who can't get out of their own way and they're just average and they just can't seem to move forward, they're on that hamster wheel, is what they do with their extra time. And in this new economy, you do not have to work crazy hours to develop leveraged income and to really develop more income in a part-time basis than you do in a full-time basis. It all comes down to scheduling your day and really take out all the wasted time that you have. And here's a question that you're going to have to ask yourself moving forward, because you have made choices. And if you look at your downtime right now, you've already allotted choices within that downtime. You either watch TV, or you go play softball, or you do some hobbies, or you spend time with the kids. Whatever you do, you already have decided that a lot of people already have that scheduled. So here's the question: what are you going to give up in order to make better choices? See, the average person usually thinks like this: you know what, if I want to go ahead and make a change, a financial change, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing because I like doing that. And then, this financial thing, I'll fit that in when I can. And I'm not going to be consistent with it because they're not willing to give up something they have. You need to be willing to give up things that you have right now that aren't good choices in your life for you to make better choices. And that comes into scheduling. I mean, a lot of times people just don't know how to schedule. If you look at lunch, everybody takes a lunch. I mean, that's an hour right there. It takes 10 minutes to eat a lunch. You could have 50 minutes to yourself to make better choices instead of just sitting there and talking with colleagues and just wasting time and surfing the internet. You can do things. You have choices that you can make where you can become better and get closer to your goals. And it doesn't take away from anything else that's going on in your life. You can still have that schedule where you do the things you like to do. It's just making better choices, and in order to make those better choices, scheduling the time to do it. And then understand this: you're going to have battles every single day, okay? And the reason why you're going to have battles is because, first of all, really the best thing for you to understand at this point, and I don't want to go real in depth into this kind of training, but you have a belief system in your head, and you have two parts of your brain. You have your conscious brain that you're aware of. Your conscious brain is the decisions you make, and then you have your subconscious brain, and that sits in the background, and you have no idea what it's doing. It's just taking in information. And the day you were born, you didn't have a belief system, and then your belief system was formed from the people who you hung out with, your parents, your environment, the people who you work with, and you developed a belief system. Well, the biggest battle that you're going to face is you every single day. It's not the people around you, it's not your relatives, it's not a support system, it's you. Because when you make that choice to start to make a change, your mind is going to say, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't right. You're not supposed to be doing this kind of stuff. You're not supposed to be spending time here. You're supposed to be doing the things you like to do. Because see, your body just doesn't know yet, your mind doesn't know that the choices you're making to make a change, it doesn't know that they're important quite yet. So until they know that this is what you really want, your mind is going to fight with you all the time. It's going to say, you don't need to be doing that right now. Come on, let's go do something else. Instead of reading a book here at lunchtime and taking notes from that book, let's surf the internet. Let's go on Facebook or something, or let's go talk to a colleague or whatever it is. So once you're aware that you are the biggest person you're going to battle, then you will be able to recognize when you start to make a change and make a better choice, and your body's starting to, and that procrastination sets in for whatever. You have that person in your head that's talking, saying, don't do this right now. You know that now it's a battle. You have to win that battle. So, understand that when you make this change, it's going to be extremely difficult. But, repetition is what changes your belief system. So making choices every day that are better, scheduling it in your planner that every day you're making better choices. If you do that every day for about 6 months, you'll start to change that belief system. And then what happens is the good choices, when you start to make bad choices, your body's going to say, wait, don't do those bad choices. We like these good choices. This is what you really want. So once you get that new belief system functioning in your mind, then it becomes easy to keep that going, because your mind will recognize, hey, these are the changes. Okay, now I get it. Okay, we want to keep this good thing going. We want to keep the good choices going because it's changing our results. So, better choices plus better scheduling plus taking action will give you different results, and then over time will end up helping you reaching your goals. So right now, when you look at your workbook, what I want you to in number 8, question number 8 is, do you currently use a planner or software program to schedule your next day's important task? It's very simple. It's a yes or no. You either do it or you don't. And just as a simple question, number 9, how long is your commute to and from work? Some people, they might drive a half hour to work, half hour to work, half hour back from work. Some people drive an hour to work and back from work. Some people it might only be 5 or 10 minutes. But whatever your commute is to and from work, go ahead and write that in. And then how long is your lunch break? Write that in. Some people have a half hour lunch. Majority of people have an hour lunch. So, when we talk about scheduling, if you do, let's say the average commute is a half hour to and from work. That's an hour right there. And then let's say your average lunch break is an hour. That's 2 hours a day that you can become better. Now, why do you want to become better? And we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. But, when we talk about that battle with you, here's your main question. How do you overcome you? How do you win that battle each and every day? And the only way you're going to win that battle is becoming better, becoming a better person. The research will bear this out, but income very rarely exceeds personal development. And let me give you a quick story. Let's say today, you're 18 years old and you went out and you went to McDonald's to get a job. Okay, and they're going to start you at the bottom of the totem pole. Let's say you start at $7, $8 an hour, whatever minimum wage is in your particular state. So in order for you to generate more money with McDonald's, you're going to have to become better. You're going to have to learn more skills. You're going to have to show the boss that you're conscientious worker, you're on time, you're a team player, you're coachable, you've got a work ethic, and then you become better, and then they give you better, tasks that hold more responsibility, and then you get some more education. McDonald's will send you to get education. They'll send you to Hamburger University in Illinois, where they do a lot of personal development and self-development on how to be a better person, how to change your belief system, how to write goals, and all that stuff. So income will very rarely exceed personal development, period. So if you want to keep generating more income and keep that income growing and growing, you got to constantly become better. Becoming better is something that just doesn't end with successful people. I was always taught this. Average people have big TVs in their house, and successful people have big libraries in their house. I want you to remember that. I mean, it's so true. When you look at successful people, go look at their bookcases. Go look at what kind of books they have on there. Go look at their office. Go see that, because they study success. That's part of why they're successful. That's what they do every single day. So when we talk about moving from where you are to where you want to be and creating wealth, let's recap. You got to make better choices. You got to schedule your planner so you're making those better choices, and then you have to recognize that you're going to be battling yourself every single day, and the only way that you're going to win that battle is becoming a better person and buying into self-development, personal development. Here's a simple question. What does personal development mean to you? Some people, personal development, they have no clue what personal development is, or self-development. You can interchange those words. Sometimes people think, people only do self-development when there's something wrong with them. Question number, number 11 in your workbook now is, do you currently spend time improving your skills, your mindset through self-development books, CDs, or live seminars? And if that's a yes, how often do you do it? Put that in there. But what we want you to understand is personal development. If you truly want to create wealth, you truly want to make a change, personal development's got to get into your schedule every single day. That's just a must. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and it can't be 1 day a week or 2 days a week or whenever you have time. You've got to schedule the time in there if you want to change to do that. Now, when we talk about personal development, here's a couple things that you're going to be facing. First of all, you have limiting beliefs. Let's say whatever your background is. Let's say the most money you earned in a month in your entire career is $4,000 a month. So your limiting beliefs inside your head are going to tell you that you're only worth $4,000 a month, and you don't have the skills to earn more than $4,000 a month. And your environment and your belief system, it's going to limit you. So becoming better, when you buy into personal development and really work with that, you start learning that you don't have your belief system is just a belief system. It's fake. It's fake because it's just based on what surroundings around you and what people have been telling you all your life. You can earn whatever you want, but you have to recognize that you have limiting beliefs, number one, and then you have to then learn the skills to change that belief system and to get around the people who don't have limiting beliefs. Sometimes your environment is one of your biggest problems, because if you think you can only earn $4,000 a month, and then you're trying to make a change and and you are making better choices, and you did put it in your schedule, a lot of times the people around you are not going to be supportive because they have limiting beliefs themselves. So it's very difficult to make a change and always keep hanging around with and always keep taking advices from people who have limiting belief systems. So one of the biggest things to overcome your limiting belief system is not only personal development, but it's who are the people that you hang out with. I have a friend of mine. He ran a nursery. He ran a very large nursery, and he came to me one day and he said, I really want to make a change. And I said, well, one of the biggest things you need to do is you need to start hanging out with people that have a bigger belief system, bigger dreams and goals than what you have. He said, well, that's very tough. I said, well, who are the five top people who you hang out with every day that are better than you? He said, well, I spend 10 hours a day at work. I don't have anybody. I can't do it. I said, well, who are the top 5 people that you hang out with work? I said, what are their belief systems? Are they lower than yours? Or are they higher than yours? Obviously, they're lower. Those employees that he's running a business, and those employees, their limiting belief system is they come and they get a check and they put in as little effort as possible so they don't get fired. That's just the way it is. And I said the biggest thing you need to do is start hanging out with people that have bigger dreams than yourself, to have bigger belief systems so they can, show you a whole nother world. Because what they're going to do is they're going to make you better. They want you to be better. They're going to teach you everything they know. They're going to help you dream. They're going to help you, not listen to those limiting beliefs. So understand you've got limiting beliefs that we have to change. Next thing in personal development we need to change our goals. Research tells us that people who write effective goals and buy into it, they achieve goals. Research will bear that out. Decades and decades of research. So here's the question. Why doesn't everyone write goals? If you write goals and you achieve goals, no matter how big or small of a task that you want to accomplish, if you write a goal down and you make a plan to get to that goal, and when you do that, you get to your goals, why doesn't everyone do it? Everyone, they don't write goals because they don't buy into goals. Majority of people have been taught to be an employee. And when you go to your particular job, they don't ask you to write goals. Some professions ask you to write goals. Like if you're a teacher, you got to write lesson plans, and they're kind of like goals. But, if you've never had to write goals in your life, then why would you ever be bought into goals, right? The person who runs a successful business, they're the ones that are writing goals for their employees, and they're just telling the employees what they need to do. And the employee comes and they just know what their responsibilities are. They don't have to write the goals out. So you have to understand that you're going to have to learn how to write goals, period. That's a skill within itself, especially when you've never written a goal before. You really have to learn how to do it because it's very difficult if you've never been taught how to do it, and you got to buy into it. So, if you don't, usually people don't write goals because they've never been bought into it. And number 2, they've never been taught. They've never been taught. Look, if you've been educated, if you've gone to high school, if you've gone to college, if you've gotten your master's or doctorate or whatever, write down how many hours have you been taught from all that education on how to write effective goals and how to write plans to reach those goals. Very, very few people ever in life get taught through the educational system to do that. Where do other people learn how to write goals? They do it through personal development. They do it also from hanging out with people that are better than themselves that write goals. And then finally, discomfort in your life is what begins action. If you're watching this right now and you're just kind of lukewarm, you're watching this because it kind of sounded interesting about being a professional entrepreneur. If there's not something that has a discomfort feeling, and I'm not talking about like a dull little pain, I'm talking about a sharp pain in your ribs that it's like, man, you know what? I need to change what I'm doing right now. I have such a passion, a drive. I need to do this because if I don't do this, I don't even want to think what will happen. The more discomfort you have, the more action you're going to take moving forward. So let's talk about the rules of the new economy. I think this is a really important part. You look at what's going on, not only here in the United States, but all across the world. I mean, there's just so much financial unrest. And you have a large portion of the population, they think that the old rules to the old economy, what they're doing is they're trying to hold on to those rules and apply them in today's economy, and it doesn't work because they haven't recognized there's a whole new set of rules to not only generate wealth, but just to survive and just to secure your financial future. But here are the old rules, okay? And I'm going to use myself as an example, and we can go through example after example after example. But both my parents, they worked about 83 years combined for one corporation called DuPont's chemical company. And in our hometown, DuPont's employed about 8,000 people at this plant. Well, my parents came right out of high school with no education. They started working for DuPont's, and that's where they worked for their entire life. So what they were taught is from their parents, that the old set of rules were taught to them. You work for an employer for a long time, you work hard, you're faithful to them, you do a good job, and they're going to take care of you. You're going to be able to retire after 35, 40 good years, and you're going to retire with benefits, whether it's in benefits of pension and also health benefits. Okay, and that's what happened to my parents. My mom worked for 42 years, my father worked for 41 years. They have a pension. They have their Social Security, and they also get some benefits from DuPont's. So that was the deal that they signed up for, and it worked pretty good for my parents. I mean, all in all, they were taught to work for security. You're not going to get rich, but you're going to be secure, and you're going to be able to live a good life. Now let's take the next step. So now I go to college. I'm taught that, hey, you want to go to college, you want to get a good job, and you go to college, and then what's happened is, here I'm 40 years old, and now the rules have changed. The deal that my parents taught me, they're not, the rules have changed, and I'm not getting the same deal. And a lot of people across the country aren't getting the same deal. I mean, the days of working for one employer are gone. How many people come out of college and work for one employer now for the next 40 years? Forget about it. Employers know when you get to a certain pay scale, they're going to replace you with someone else. They also, someone that's cheaper. They also understand today, why should I hire someone and pay them a salary and benefits when I can hire an outside contractor that's going to get 1099, that I can say, okay, here's my job, how much you're going to cost me to do that particular job. I don't have to, and once the job's done, they're gone. You don't have to pay them benefits, you don't have to pay them anything like that. You just pay to get that work done. That's what's happening out there. Everything's changing. So knowing that, what's the deal look like for my generation? It's not as good as the generation of my parents. It was a great deal. For me, it's a so-so deal. The education, you get a job, but now you've got a lot of people that, have worked for 20 years and now they're overqualified, or they've been downsized, their company's gone, their company couldn't make it through the tough times, or they moved out of the country, their job has been eliminated, and now, there's other people that are willing to do their job for a lot less money, and they can't go find work. So now, let's take the next step. Let's take the kids that are in college right now. Okay, and the kids in college right now are still working by the old rules. Their parents are teaching them, go to college, you're going to work for a company, you're going to get a good job because you got that education. Now look, they're coming out of college and they can't find jobs. There's people that have come out of college that it's been years and they don't have a job yet. I was eating at the Macaroni Grill the other night when I had a business meeting. And I just assumed that the gentleman that was waiting on us was after the dinner. I just assumed he went to college. So I just came right out and I said, what school did you go to? What college did you go to? He said, University of Delaware. I said, oh, great. I said, what was your major? He said, geography. I said, well, what do you do with a geography degree? He said, well, I guess you can go to Atlanta and work for the Weather Channel. That's where they're stationed. Or you can work for, TV station and meteorologist department, the weather department and everything. I said, well, how long has it been since you graduated? He said 2 years. I said, is it difficult to find a job? He said, it's very difficult to find a job. I said, so what are you going to do? He says, well, I really don't know. Here, he's a waiter at the Macaroni Grill. He's got debt coming out of his ears from 4 years of college, and he's working at a job that he could have worked for 4 years ago without any kind of a degree or anything like that. So for him, the deal that my parents had is a lousy deal. Now think of the generation right now. I have two daughters, one 3 years old and the other's 5 years old. Okay, what if they kept working? If I taught them the old rules, go get an education and jobs are going to be there. You know what? Are they really going to be there? See, you can't hold fast and hold tight to these old rules because everything's changed. Okay, it's just drastically changed. This is what the new rules say, and the individuals that adapt to these new rules are the ones that are going to create wealth. They're going to be ahead of the curve. They're the ones that are going to just prosper. I mean, there's people right now generating millions and millions of dollars, and their businesses are booming in this economy because quite frankly, they have adapted. I mean, if you look at the Fortune 500 companies last year, 250 of them are no longer Fortune 500 companies because they were still functioning with the old set of rules. And that's how drastic it can be. There's 250 new companies in there because they've applied the new techniques. Here's the new rules. College doesn't get you a job anymore. All it does is it puts people in huge debt. If you actually sat down and wrote out what profession you're going to go in. I mean, let's just take the waiter. The waiter had a geography degree. Nothing against geography, but how much do you make with a geography degree? Heck, you can't even find a job. So when you do get a job, how much does the average income pay for that? I mean, you're walking out of University of Delaware with at least $80,000 in debt, and then you've got to have a job that's going to pay that. So a lot of the times, the college degree doesn't guarantee you a job, and even when you get a job, it doesn't earn you enough to even pay off that debt, to own a house, to have a car, and everything like that. Employers are looking out for themselves first, and they're profit driven. They're not person driven. The old days, the good companies took care of their employees. Today, it's few and far between. There are companies. I'm not saying all companies don't take care of their employees. I'm just saying that the majority of companies out there, they're worried about themselves first. I mean, when they make decisions, they're making decisions to cut costs because if they can't survive, they're going to lay people off. If it's up to them surviving and not surviving, what do you think they're going to do? Retirees, look, I mean, they're working into their mid to late 60s. Some people are 70 years old and still working because they can't not work with taxes and everything that keeps increasing the cost of living, gas. So where is that dream lifestyle? Where is the dream, that American dream lifestyle? And what you have to recognize looking at this right now is, what are you going to do? When we go back to question number 2, is either question number 2 or question number 3, what is your plan to make a change? Because obviously you're here because you want to make some type of change. What's your current plan right now? Did you even have a plan? How can you go through life and if you're struggling, and you don't have a plan, then how's anything going to change? If you don't make better choices, how are things going to change? If you don't get better at scheduling your day, how are things going to change? If you don't become better and change your belief system and buy into personal development, how are things going to change? A lot of things to think about. But here's what we want to do. We want to transition and let's really look at how do you generate your income. And I'll tell you, this is one of the best books I have ever read. This is Robert Kiyosaki. And Robert Kiyosaki, he's a New York Times best-selling author. He has written many, many books that have become New York Times bestsellers. But, he has one whole series called Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. And some people maybe have read some of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, and some people have never heard of Robert Kiyosaki before. But Robert Kiyosaki came up with something called cash flow quadrants. And right here, this is his cash flow quadrant. Every book that he writes, he always has a chapter on the cash flow quadrant because that's important. And what you want to understand with this cash flow quadrant was Robert Kiyosaki had 2 parents. He had 2 fathers. He had a stepfather and his real father. His real father, he categorized his real father as poor dad and his stepfather as rich dad. And what his poor dad told Robert and said, okay, this is what you want to do in life. You want to go and you want to get an education. Okay, kind of what I just went through, but let's go through it again. You want to, get an education, work for a company, and work for security. So you want to become an E, stands for employee. So poor dad said, what you do is you become an employee, you work hard, and you have financial security. And then what some people do, and right below the E is an S. An S is like a solo business owner, and usually an S person is really a person who at one time was an employee and they said, you know what, I don't want to be an employee. I want freedom. I want freedom from a boss. So they're good at what they do. Maybe they worked for an electrician and then they start their own electrician business, or they worked for a pizza shop and then now they own their own pizza shop and they have their own business. So the S quadrant people, they work for freedom. But what happens in the S quadrant is the better this person in the S quadrant becomes, their business grows, then they get locked into their business because they structured their business that it revolves all around them. Let's look at a couple different examples, and you can probably relate to people that you know. But a lot of restaurant owners, it's very rare for restaurant owners, especially when we look at mom and pop restaurant owners, to leave their business. I know many people, husband and wives, that own a restaurant, and one of the two are there all the time because when they're gone, they know their business is going to fall apart because they can't trust other people to run their business. They can't pay them enough. They can't trust them with cash. Heck, this is their entire life right here, so it's very difficult for them to trust someone with something they put so much time and effort in, and that is paying their entire income and paying their mortgage and paying their bills. So, the poor dad, this is called the poor side right here. The E as an employee and the S as a solo business owner. Even a specialized person, someone that is a lawyer, is in the S quadrant. Someone that's a doctor. They make a lot of money. They make more money than the average person. They might own their own practice, but they are in the S quadrant over here. Now, the rich dad is over here on this side of the quadrant where the B and the I is. And the rich dad says, you know what? I wouldn't spend any time in the E quadrant or the S quadrant, because if you just look at the E quadrant, son, I don't know anybody who's an employee that's financially wealthy or rich. So if that's the case, what I suggest you do, son, is come over here into the B quadrant and build a B quadrant business. Learn the skills to develop B quadrant businesses, as many as you can, because the philosophy in a B quadrant business is to own a business that revolves around a system. You own a business where the system works for you. For instance, if you had a restaurant, this is the philosophy of a B quadrant business. If I own a restaurant, I'm going to hire people that are better than me. I'm going to hire someone that's going to run this restaurant, all the day-to-day things, that is awesome at running a restaurant. I'm going to pay him good money so I can go off and do something else and create another business, okay? And let that restaurant business run itself because I have good people there, or I've trained people to become really, really good where they run that. So now I'm sure you probably know people personally where they do a lot of things. They might have some real estate rentals. They might have a car wash. They might have another type of business, who knows? But, how are those? I think everybody knows people that own multiple businesses. And the only reason they own multiple businesses is they have structured their businesses in the B quadrant. Remember, the solo business owner, their business revolves around them. They're at that pizza shop every single day. Okay, they very rarely take days off, because when they leave, their business it falls apart, because they just have that mentality that they always have to have their hands in it, and if their hands aren't in it, they're just scared to death that something's going to fall apart. So what the rich dad said is, look, you want to develop income from B quadrant businesses, and then as you develop that income, you want to go down and take that money and put it into the I is an investor. Investors, their money works for them. But see, a lot of people in the E quadrant, they want to become an investor, but see, they keep trading their time for money. And this is the main thing that you need to understand here, is the E quadrant, they trade their time for money. And this is how they think. If they have one job and they make $50,000 a year at that job, if they want to make extra money, the first thing they say is, well, I need to either work overtime or I need to get a second job, because their thinking is they just have to trade more time for money. And that's how they think. But what happens is they never have time to do anything. They never get ahead because they're trading their time for dollars. And see, that's really what's happening down here in the S quadrant, is if they're not there, they don't make money. That lawyer who owns a firm, if they're not doing billable hours, if they're not billing hours, trading time for money, then they don't have a business. So they make good money. Or doctors, they have to trade their time for money. And if they want to make more money, they either have to get more more education. Hopefully someone will pay them more money, or they've got to put more hours in. So the reason why these people over here in the E and S quadrant, they never work for independence, they never become financially free, because their income is always dependent upon them trading time for money. The B quadrant is not like that. The B quadrant creates leveraged income. So you can have a restaurant and be over here doing something else, and then you have a car wash over here that someone else takes care of. So you have two businesses producing you income, and you're very, very rarely there. You're just checking in and you're leading a couple people to run those businesses, and then you're taking that money and investing it over here. So Rich Dad says, you know what? If I was going to do something for the rest of my life, I'd learn how to build B businesses and invest money into the I. So now the question is for yourself is, what quadrant or quadrants are you in? You know, just circle. Are you an E? Are you an S? Are you a B? Or are you an I? Typically, if you're watching this right now, you're either an E or an S. I mean, someone that's a B isn't learning how to be a professional entrepreneur, because they're already an entrepreneur themselves. They already understand it. Someone that, you know, some people might be an E and they dabble in an I. Some people might be an S and dabble in an I. But you know, write down what quadrants you're in, and then the next question is, what quadrants do you want to earn income in the future? Maybe you're in the E quadrant right now and you want to transition into the B. Maybe you're a solo business owner asking yourself, how the heck can I take my business from an S to a B where I don't have to babysit this business all the time? I've got kids now, and I can't even spend time with my kids because this business owns me. But now I'm locked into my nice car, my nice house, my vacations, my vacation home. And, you know, if I'm not here running this S business, everything falls apart. So where do you want to be? And then let's start writing some goals. You know, what's the monthly income needed to reach the goals? Remember in the first couple questions, what do you want to change? Okay, whatever you want to change, here's the next question. Okay, for you know, the monthly income, how much money do you have to generate to make those changes in a month? And don't limit yourself. This is where your limiting beliefs a lot of times will say, oh, well, you know what? I make $4,000 a month, but geez, I can't even fathom making $4,000 extra a month, because, you know, you're probably thinking in your head, I don't have time to do that. It's not about time. It's about what do you want out of life. Write a number down, and this doesn't have to be a number set in stone, because once you reach it, you're going to want to adjust it. Okay, you're going to want to make even more. So write down what you want to make in a month, and then the next question is, you have to put a time frame to it. What's the time frame to make that happen? If you never put a time frame, it never happens, because you just keep getting on that hamster wheel. Once you get the time frame, then you get out of the hamster wheel. You know, if you don't hit it in the time frame, we readjust your goals. If you're way ahead of your goals, then you know what? We make our goals bigger, or we cut down the time frame. But we need to have a time frame. And then the next question is, what will the change make in your life? If you reach that goal, what's going to change in your life? Okay, what is it? What's going to change? What are the emotions you're going to feel? Imagine if you had an extra $5,000 a month. What would that do for your family? What will that do for your kids? What can you provide for your kids? What vacations can you go? What charities can you actually give money to, rather than writing a $20 check to a charity? What charity are you going to give a couple $1,000s to this month? Whose life are you going to affect? Whose life you're going to make better? So put that in there. And then next is, what is your current belief that you can achieve these goals? Okay, and you have on a scale of 1 to 10, and be honest with yourself, because if you're a 6, we need to know that. So we need to know that we have to increase that. You might say, I'm a 10. I believe I can do it. I just don't have the right vehicle yet. I just don't know how to apply these new rules into what I have going on. I don't know how to take the skills that I currently have and transform them into another industry. I just don't know. So determine where you are right now, determine where you want to be, and the B quadrant business rules have changed. It's so much easier to own a successful B quadrant business because the technology advancements, it's an option for everyone now. Because of, look at what the internet has done. The internet has changed how business is done globally. You have kids in high school that develop apps for wireless phones, and they might charge 50 cents or $1, and they're making millions of dollars. because millions of people are downloading their app. I mean, or they develop some type of an internet business. I mean, this internet allows anyone to build a B quadrant business. And not only that, there's been a paradigm shift in the way business is done. The old brick and mortar, having a location and having a business and having all that overhead and all the employees, I find a lot of S quadrant businesses, they just get consumed with all the overhead. And there's so many different B quadrant business out there that are low capital to get started, low capital every month to run. And so what does that mean? If it's a low investment, that means it's a low in risk. And if it's a low investment and low monthly maintenance to it, then it's easier to get into profit mode. And once you get into profit mode, it's easier to grow your profits because you don't have all that overhead and infrastructure to take care of. And not only that, B quadrant businesses rules have changed because it's now more stable and there's more upside to owning a B quadrant business than working for an employer. Because when you build a B quadrant business, you are now in charge of your financial future. You can determine how much you want to make. It's dependent upon you building that B quadrant business. But your employer is going to dictate, what your financial future is going to look like. And in today's economy, the last person who I want to make decisions about my financial future is my employer, period. And that's what a lot of people have done. They have trusted that their employers are going to take care of them, and you know what? They don't. The company gets sold, a new owner comes in, and they just go ahead and they take all the money out of the pension and benefit program that you've been investing in for 30 years, and it's all gone. How can that happen? Well, it happens because you can't rely on someone else to take care of you. That should be, business 101, financial 101. You can't rely on someone else. And if you do rely on someone else, then shame on you. When something happens, the only person that you can blame is not them. It comes down to yourself because you made a choice to put yourself in that situation. Now, the biggest thing, once you recognize that you're in the E or the S and you need to get over the B as fast as possible, the B quadrant, here's what has to happen. There's going to be a mindset change. And a lot of times this is difficult for people. It's difficult for someone who is an employee and employees working for security. They're working for instant gratification because if they put 40 hours in this week, they get a check next week. They get money in their hand. It's instant gratification. And what has to change is the mindset, because the mindset of someone in the B quadrant and the mindset of someone in the E quadrant, S quadrant are totally different. And you need to recognize that, because what happens is you're going to have to make a shift from the average person thinking to the higher achiever thinking. And this is what it's going to look like. And we're going to take this pyramid right here. That represents all the extra time that you have in your day. And this is what it looks like for the average person. They go to work because they have to go to work. And then when they get done work, they spend the most of their time at the bottom of this pyramid. You see, that's the biggest part of the pyramid. The first thing they do are the things they like to do. When they're at work, lunchtime, I'm doing what I like to do. I'm surfing the internet, or I'm going out and I'm getting on my iPad at lunch and I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to go with the girls or the guys out to lunch, and we're going to, just have some fun at lunch and relax and get rid of the stress and everything. So what happens, they do all the tasks that they like to do throughout the day. They come home, they play softball, they go to the baseball game at night, they go to the basketball game, they watch Dancing with the Stars and American Idol and all that. And then if they do everything they like to do, some of them will venture into the have to do stuff. I have to do the laundry, I have to make dinner, they'll do that stuff. But very rarely do they get up here to the must do things, the things that have to get done, really, really get done. These are must. They'll always procrastinate. And because they always procrastinate, then what happens is these must things that need to get done, they start to become stressful things because they kept putting them off and putting them off. But now, here's what happens with your high achiever. When your high achiever wakes up, the first tasks that they do in their free time are things they must do. Things they must do to get them closer to their goal. And that's what they do. And until they're done, they don't move to the have to. They make sure they get done the most important tasks that are going to get them closer to their goal. Because they know if they do that every day, then every day they're getting closer to their goal. So now, if you just understand that, look at the average person over here. The must-dos, they never get to. So they never get to their goals. They wonder why they never get to their goals, because it's not a focus. It's the last priority in their triangle, in their pyramid, but over here it's the first priority for the high achiever. And once the high achiever gets done the must-dos, then they'll go do the have-tos. And the have-tos are very important, okay? They're the next most important. And then if they have time left over, they'll do the things they like to do. Now, the average person looking at this right now is saying, well, geez, that doesn't sound like a fun life. Well, you know what? The high achiever says, you know what? I will sacrifice this for the next 2 to 3 years, so then I can do everything I like to do and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about money because I sacrificed and I made the good choices I needed to make every day in the must-do category for a period of time. My B quadrant businesses are running. I've invested money and now my money's making money for me while I'm running my B quadrant businesses. Life is good. I have independence. I'm not tied to a job. I'm not tied to an employer. I'm not owned by my business. So that's the mindset. And, you know, it takes some time to get through that mindset. It'll be difficult for some individuals, but you know what? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to make a change? So now, let's say you want to get, now what your question is, okay, I want to be B quadrant. How do I choose a B quadrant business? And that's very important. And this is when we build a B quadrant business, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a risk versus reward. Because there's a couple, there are different B quadrant businesses you can get in, and the risk versus reward are much different. You're going to have some businesses with a big risk because there's a lot of money that has to be put out to not only get it started, but to run it every single month. And, the risk versus reward, sometimes you might not be able to do it, especially if you have a job. That's probably going to eliminate some businesses right there. But we look for risk versus reward, and we look for no geographical limits, especially with the internet. We talked about the technology. You shouldn't limit yourself into your own hometown. You shouldn't limit yourself into your state or your region or your country. It should be something that's global. Definitely personal development really should be number one on your list when you're looking at any business. If you're looking at franchising, then go no further than McDonald's. McDonald's believes 100% in personal development. Go look at their mission statement. It doesn't say anything about selling hamburgers and chicken McNuggets. It says, if you go on there, Ray Kroc says, our number one thing that we need to do as a company is invest in our talent and make our people better. And that's why they have Hamburger University in Illinois. And that's why they're the most successful franchise, because personal development comes first. Hamburgers don't come first. That's just a vehicle to make them money. You're looking for B quadrant business that has technology is supported in it, unlimited income potential, time leverage, very important, time leverage, a trending industry, right? Heck, you can have everything I'm talking about, but if we're selling vinyl records, that's not a trending industry right now, okay? Vinyl records are extinct. So you can have everything that's positive, but then if you're in an industry that just isn't relevant, then what good is it? Long-term stability, and we're looking for innovation. So let's look at some options. Let's look at franchising. Franchising has been around, and franchising is a huge industry. What's the difficulties with franchising? If you have a job right now, it's very difficult to go into franchising because you have to buy into it. You have to be there all the time. You can't work your job and have a franchise at the same time. That's like next to impossible. Nobody does that. So now if you're going to do it full time, you're going to have to make a choice to leave your job, and then you're going to have enough money to live off of. And not only that, how much do the average franchises cost? Your below average franchises are $50,000, $60,000. The low end of a good franchise is like $100,000, or your good ones are more like $150,000, $250,000. McDonald's, you're looking at $1 million. So usually the better the franchise, the more money it's going to cost. That's just up front. That's not including your monthly income. So typically, franchising works because you got a curriculum that you follow. You got rules that you follow. And if you don't follow those rules, then they shut your franchise down. So it's very structured. That's why franchises succeed. They're very, very structured. But for the average person, I think we can eliminate franchising. I just don't think the majority of people have money to get into franchising, and they don't have the time or the expertise to get in there. Real estate, okay? Real estate can be a B quadrant business if you have rentals. You have a bunch of rentals and you're earning profit off a bunch of rentals. The problem with a lot of people in real estate, they never accumulate enough rentals where they can hire a property manager to take care of them. I can't tell you how many people I know who are in real estate and they can't stand it. They thought it was a good idea to get all these rentals. They went to some real estate classes and everything, but next thing you know, they're sick and tired of their tenants. They don't pay. There's always a problem, and they wish they could have someone run it for them. They wish they could put it into a B quadrant, but here's a rule of thumb. Usually you need at least 20 rental properties to hire a property manager. So if you got 20 rental properties, how much money does it cost? Do you have one building that has 5 units in it? Do you have 20 separate homes? I mean, you're talking about a lot of cash up front, and you're talking about a lot of risk each month because you don't know if they're always going to be full. You're paying a property manager to run it. I mean, so real estate for some people can work, and then you look at the economy. You know, with what's going on in the economy right now, there's a lot of people that have a lot of property that they've invested in, but now they're upside down because they bought it for higher than what it's valued right now, and it's just very difficult to make ends meet. You can go into financial planning, and financial planning, you know, the reason why I put that down because it pays residual income. Income means, you know, residual income is you do something once, you get paid over and over again. So you can go and become a financial planner, and over time, you create a book of clients that are investing money with you. And as they invest the money with you, you're earning residual percentages each and every year from the money that they have invested. So financial planning, you got to pass your 7 series exam, and you know that's a whole industry to get into. So that's an option. And if you look at any type of a traditional business, any type of a traditional business can be a B quadrant business, but it's extremely difficult because a traditional business, they are just stuck in the S quadrant because they've invested a lot of their own money and a lot of their sweat equity, and they've had hard times getting that business going. You know, when they get to a point where they're like, you know what, I'm going to hire someone to run the business, their mindset, it doesn't work because they have so much invested in that business, and that business is paying for their life, paying for their lifestyle, and they're like, man, I can't trust this with anyone because if someone makes one bad decision, my whole income stream for my family can be gone overnight. So it's very difficult for a traditional business. And finally, the last one is network marketing. We strongly suggest if you take all the options out there, you know, network marketing is what we feel is the best B quadrant business out there. And it's not our opinion, it's factual information. Network marketing has produced more millionaires than any other industry, more than franchising, more than real estate, more than financial planning, more than traditional businesses. It's created more millionaires. But here's the problem with network marketing. Is the majority of people out there, they have a lot of perceptions on what they think the industry is, and a lot of their perceptions aren't based off factual information. It's based off their belief system, what they've been told by other people, and a lot of it just isn't facts. But if you go do your research, you know, a person that's serious looking for a B quadrant business, they do their research. You know, network marketing has produced more millionaires than any other industry, and that's a fact. Okay, the industry thrives in a down economy. That's a fact. Go look at the early 90s when the economy was really, really difficult, and look at network marketing. It was its best time ever in there, you know, in a down economy. And now network marketing's booming because so many people are, and the way business has changed on how businesses are doing business with the internet now. You know, people are just coming in droves, and you know, here's a perception. A lot of people think it's recruiting. I got to be a super salesman. I got to recruit a lot of people. That's all perception, you know, and they'll think, oh, they don't work. You got to be at the top to make money and all this stuff. It's all crazy stuff. They just didn't do any research. And, you know, the industry generated over $125 billion just last year globally. And here's an incredible fact. You know, 70,000 people per day join a network marketing company. That is factual information. See, there's professionals joining it every every day. There's average people joining it every day. But the difference from all those individuals is your support system and your personal development. And then we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But here's what usually your average person with a lot of perceptions. Oh, it's a pyramid. Well, everything is a pyramid. What you're going to have to do, whether you are starting a franchise, whether you own a traditional business, what you're doing, or whether you're in network marketing, you're deciding where do you want to be in the pyramid. Okay, if you're working for an employer, you're most typically you are an employee. Okay, and then you have people that are in management, and then you have the CEO at the top. The CEO at the top, they have all the people in management and employee that are working for them. They have leverage. So if you have a franchise, it's the same thing. You own the franchise. You're hiring managers and you're hiring employees, right? If you have a mom and pop business, you're the CEO. You're hiring some managers to run it and you're hiring employees. So it's no different. Network marketing, you are the CEO. You're going to build a business with managers, and you're going to build a business with employees. But the great thing in network marketing is an employee can actually become a CEO. Everybody is their own CEO who starts a network marketing business, and everybody develops their own business. That's the great thing. And the more you help other people, the more money you make. But when you go back to a lot of the determining factors that we look for in a B quadrant business, risk versus reward. You can get started in network marketing for less than $500 initial investment and less than $100 a month to run your business. Tell me what business you can run with that little risk. Because you have that little risk, what is there to lose? Everything to gain. Look how easy it is to get into profit mode. Not only that, network marketing allows you to have a full-time job or even own another business, because what you're doing is you're transferring all the just junk and running a business. I mean, you're partnering with a company and they're assuming all the risk. They're producing the product, they're hiring the employees, they're doing the customer service, they're shipping the product, they're tracking the product, they're doing the accounting to pay you. I mean, they're doing all that. They're footing the bill. All you're doing is footing a minuscule couple $100 to get started and less than $100 to run a business. So, a lot of what people perceive in network marketing is nothing more than unfactual information that their belief system's telling them. But this is probably one of the biggest things that you have to recognize about network marketing. There's two sides of network marketing. There's the side that we call the peddlers, and there's the professionals. And until people understand this, then they never make they never look at network marketing in the right mindset and understand that there's two different parts. If we go back to Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, network marketing really falls into two separate categories. First, it falls in the S category, and and a lot of people, this is how they're introduced to network marketing. Okay, then this is the peddler model. And the peddler model is when they see their friends or their family or people they know, they're just peddling products all the time. The companies that they're associated with are just teaching them to peddle products. And then they're also peddling the opportunity. So whenever you talk to them, they're always peddling a product, or they're always talking about their opportunity, and they peddle and they peddle and they peddle, and the companies just teach them how to peddle more product, and that's it. And that is a very unsuccessful business model. However, that's the business model that the majority of the population is accustomed to. That's what their perceptions are network marketing is. Now, the professional side is over here in the B quadrant on the rich side. Okay, the people who build B quadrant businesses in network marketing, they don't peddle product. What they do is they do the research to understand what companies that are out there that meet all the qualifications and that don't require you to peddle product. So now the next question you're probably asking is, what do they do? Over here, someone that's a professional in network marketing, they spend all their time in personal development themselves, and then the people that are in their business, they make them better. They make them better than themselves, because that allows them, after a certain period of time, to leave that B quadrant business, because you have a lot of leadership in there that's based on all personal development. They have a ton of people that have changed their belief system. They have a ton of people that know how to write goals. They have a ton of people that know how to manage people and help people out. And it's a B quadrant business, and it's a global business. So you have two different sides. Unfortunately, the majority of the population, they never get introduced to the B quadrant professional side of network marketing. And that's what you're looking for. If you're going to be successful in network marketing and you truly want to make a life-changing income, you need to be a professional. Peddlers don't do it. Just like Poor Dad, he said, you want to be an employee. Rich Dad said, you know what? I don't know any employees that are rich. I'll tell you this, I don't know any peddlers that are rich in network marketing, because the peddling model, the recruit, and just go gather customers, that model does not work. So that is very important for you moving forward. The last couple slides that we talked about are so extremely important moving forward, because that's the difference in network marketing. Once you understand the professional side, then it's just riding a bike. It's making the better choices. It's doing what the B quadrant network marketers do. We're not going to teach you to do what the peddlers do, okay? I mean, very simple. Now, when you understand network marketing, here's the next thing. How do I choose the right company within that industry? And here's the recipe, okay? The recipe is you're looking for a stable company. And a stable company is a company that's 5 years old or greater, because they're already established. They already have the management team in place and the leadership in the field. They've gone through their bumps, and they'll still have trials and tribulations. Everybody has trials and tribulations, whether you're Microsoft or whether you're Apple or whether you're a 5-6 year old company. But typically, a rule of thumb, you get the 5 years, they're going to be a long-term stable company. And then next thing is you need to know who's the financial backer. Who are they? How much do they have invested? What are their goals as a financial investor? Where do they want to take this company? Extremely important to know. You're also looking for innovative products and services. Is it a trending industry? If I was in network marketing right now, I think one of the best industries is the nutrition industry. I mean, it's almost $1 trillion industry. You look at the baby boomers. The baby boomers are the biggest portion of the population, and they need to start taking care of themselves because of the healthcare system is so expensive. And then you're looking at the younger population, because the healthcare isn't out there and it's so expensive. They're living healthier now at an earlier age. So that is such a huge trending industry right now. You're also looking for a category creating product. And this is one of the biggest mistakes people make. You don't want to be with a copycat product. You want to be first to market. I mean, look at Apple, look at the iPod, right? They were the first ones to introduce the MP3 player. They own 85% of the market. Of all the MP3 players out there, 85% of them are all Apple. So if I was going to get into that market, would I rather have been with Apple or been with all the other companies that are fighting for 15% of the market share? See that? So that's a huge thing that a lot of people don't understand, because a typical person, they just look at a product and they think that's the most important part of the business. They get emotionally attached to a product, and there's so much more. Simple business plan. Can you actually understand and write out a 3 to 5 year business plan in less than 10 minutes? If the person can't do that for you, that you're looking at an opportunity, then you know what? Run away. It has to be simple. It has to be so simple that a 5th grader can go out there and build a business. Heck, I know my dog can build a business in network marketing if you're with a simple plan. It's that simple. And then the support system. The support system must be based around relationships, but more importantly, self-development. Personal development is the key. Okay, that should be your number one thing. But when you look at all those, the ingredients to the recipe, you have to have them all. You can't be missing one. Okay, you just can't. You can't be missing 3. Imagine trying to cook lasagna and you don't have a pan. You have everything. You have the heating element, you have all the ingredients, but you don't have the pan to put it in. It's no good. What if you don't have the pan and you don't have the noodles? It's lousy. It doesn't happen, guys. So you can't choose a network marketing company and they just have a good product. Or they have a good product and the company's been around for 6 years. Well, you know what? If they're sacrificing all the rest, you're going to fail. So now we come to this. When we're giving you a lot of information, and I appreciate you hanging in here, but how can we help? What can we do? What do we do as professional entrepreneurs? How can we be so successful helping people become a professional entrepreneur? Well, what we've done is we have developed 2 programs for individuals. The first program is an internship and a certificate program, certification program. We have developed a 2-year intensive online, just like an online college course, online certification program to become a professional entrepreneur. There's a curriculum. It's 8 semesters. There's books that you're going to read, that you're going to follow, that we're going to teach you all these success techniques, how to get that intrinsic motivation. So when you wake up, you know what you need to do to get closer to your goals. You know, that external motivation works at your work, because if you don't work, you don't get a paycheck. But when you try to build your own business and you don't have that accountability, it's difficult to have that external motivation. So you really need to have that internal motivation. So we have a 24-month certification-based education course. And what we're going to do is we are going to partner you with a mentor. It's an internship. The internship is you're going to be hooked up with a business in network marketing, because that, quite frankly, is the best industry to be in, as long as it's in the professional side of network marketing. So you're going to be connected with a business, then you're going to roll into the 24-month course to be a professional entrepreneur, and then you're going to be partnered with a mentor that's going to help you, to hold you accountable, that's going to take you through that 24-month course, that's going to hold you accountable to your goals every single day. And you're going to have e-learning environment, learning online from your house. You'll have face-to-face learning, and you'll have the accountability program, that whether it's on the phone or it's in face-to-face, depending on where you live and where your mentor lives. And what you're going to do is you're going to earn while you learn. You know, the business is included in this program. You're going to decide what kind of income you want to have generated after the 24 months. And, you know, this is such a very rare program we put together. Imagine being in an internship where you have your business and you have your accountability and you have your online course that's going to hold you accountable and teach everything you need to know. So, you know, at the end of 24 months, we're going to put a plan to reach your goal. It might be $1,000, might be $4,000. The typical results are anywhere between $1,000 and $4,000 a month in residual income. Some people, that might not sound a lot, but you know what? Professional people say, you know what, that's a lot of money. How much money do you need in the bank to produce $4,000 a month residual income? You need millions and millions of dollars. And, you know, there's so many people out there that's their retirement, and they can't save it up in a 401k. Heck, the people's 401ks are gone in a matter of a couple days with this economy. So, you know, how does someone in their 30s or 40s save a couple $1 million in whatever program they're in, so it produces them $4,000 a month? Well, that's what we're going to do. And this is it. This is for the intern program. It's $350 upfront investment. It's about $75 a month for 24 months. That includes your business, running your business, your expenses in your business, and the certification course. I mean, look at that. For a new career, you're looking at $2,100 to $2,400. And not only that, as your business is growing within those 24 months, it's actually going to be paying for itself. That's the best thing about it. Within your first 3 or 4 months, that $75 is going to be paying for itself. So you're actually doing it for free. And this is our most popular route that people take. Now, we do have people that come, and we have the program number 2 is our certification only program. You know, it's a 24-month program, everything we talked about. These are people that already own a business. They might own a traditional business already. They want to have the, you know, but they don't know how to write goals, and they wonder why their business isn't growing, and they don't have the belief system that they can grow their business bigger than what it is, or maybe have multiple locations. Or it's someone else that's in network marketing and they're in another company. They love the company they're in, and there's not a problem with that, but they don't have the personal development background. Their company doesn't teach them. They might be actually in a peddling model where they're peddling products. Well, this program's set for them. It's a 24-month program. It's $85 a month for 24 months. So it's about a $2,000 program. But after 24 months, you're going to walk away with a certification as a professional entrepreneur. I mean, the coursework's absolutely incredible. And if you just compare this with what people are doing out there, you take our 2 programs, whether it's the internship or the certification program. But really, you know, the internship program, at the end of that, you have income generated. So that's like a no-brainer. But look what people are doing out there. They're playing by the old rules. They go get their 4-year degree, and, you know, minimum, you know, $28,000 for a 4-year degree, which is really ludicrous. I don't know where you can go do that. You have colleges now that are, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per year. And then you have to go out there and you have to get a job. You're not guaranteed anything. Or look what an LPN nurse, $8,000 for that. It's a year course. Welding certificate, it's a $5,000 course. Cosmetologist certificate, $5,000. Auto collision, $5,000. Auto technology certificate, $5,000. Dental assistant, $8,000. Culinary arts, $5,000. Microsoft certified, $3,000. Computer A certified, $2,500. To get your Series 7 financial planning, at least $1,500. All those routes right there, when you're done, you still have to get a job. So here are the new rules. The new rules in the economy say, spend some time every day building your B quadrant business. Have a goal at the end of 24 months where you want to be at that point that's going to continue to grow, and learn the techniques over 24 months to get you there. That's how a professional approaches network marketing. People fail in network marketing because they go into it as a Yahoo type of business. They don't learn how to write goals. They don't learn how to pick a right company. They don't learn anything, and they don't treat it like a business. And they don't have the mindset. This is like going to school. That's why this is something that's never been developed before. And if you truly want to change and move forward, this is the program for you. If you want to be a professional entrepreneur and you want to lead the charge, we're helping people all across the country. So here we are at this point. Okay, if all this information sounds good, it sounds great, and you filled out your worksheet, and now you're sitting here and you're saying, okay, what do I do now? How do I get involved in the internship program? Well, what you want to do is get with the person that directed you to this video, number one, and then number two, watch the next video right after this. You can just fill the information out right there below. We'll send you the next information. We have studied thousands of companies. We have over 100 years experience combined, over 100 years in network marketing, and we know all the companies inside and out, and we have narrowed it down to one company that that fits all the recipe out there, and they're exploding. It's such a simple business plan, and when you combine it with our certification program, sky's the limit. So what we'll do is, if you want more information and you want it online in this fashion, just fill the information out below, and then we'll get you the information on the company, the business plan, and now we know what you want. You filled it out in this worksheet. Now what we'll do is introduce you to the company, the product line, everything that's going on across the country, across the globe, and then we'll take your goals, put it into the compensation plan, put together a plan of action over the next 24 months, and then it's just, are you ready do you really want to make a change? Are you ready to get going in one of our programs and become a better person and reach your goals? So I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Make sure you get back with the person that directed you to this online seminar with the Propreneurs. And if you're interested, go ahead, and when you got time, whether it's right now, go ahead. It's going to be about a 30-minute video that's going to explain our internship and how it's all going to work. So have a great day. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule, and we'll talk to you soon.